Wave at the camera.
Hi.
Alright. Congratulations! Did you just get divorced, abused, unemployed? Well, whatever brought you here, welcome to the streets. Here you can expect violence, unsanitary living conditions. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, you'll probably get arrested too. If you find this to be cruel, I don't blame you. I believe that homeless laws need to be abolished. After studying numerous reported cases on the lackluster effect of these laws, I'm even more convinced that change is necessary. As election season comes this year, it is increasingly important that you make informed decisions about candidates who agree with your views on this matter. Systemic obstacles for the homeless are unfair due to their destruction of future opportunities, clear racial discrimination, and violation of human rights. Abolition is necessary for a number of reasons, but the first is that they destroy all hope of a future outside of homelessness. According to the UAB Institute of Human Rights in 2020, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti has allowed police to ticket $300 for having an encampment rather than just developing affordable housing. In the same year, ACLU Indiana reported 4,300 citizens in Marion County who are homeless, and they have to wear electronic monitoring devices costing $14 a day and an additional $50 fine per month. And if you're unable to make ends meet, incarceration becomes your future. Even minor crimes such as these can be devastating when applying for housing and job opportunities, further condemning you to the streets. This cycle is already vicious as is, but for certain communities, it's even more ruthless. In December of 2023, the National Alliance to End Homelessness reported that 13% of our population is African American, but they make up 37% of our homeless community and 50% of homeless families. This disproportionate statistic is equally as disproportionate as the rate of incarceration, meaning that African Americans are just far more likely to be doomed to prison and the streets for something they can't even control. Speaking of things we can't control, the last reason why homeless laws need to be abolished is because they violate basic human rights. Article 25 of the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for himself and his family, including food and housing and a right to security in circumstances beyond his control. However, in June this year, New York Times recorded Supreme Justice Sotomayor's statement that Oregon's local laws are imposing fines and potential jail time for sleeping anywhere in the city at any time, for using as little as a blanket to keep yourself warm, or a rolled up t-shirt as a pillow. Sleep is necessary for survival, so these laws are just removing basic human rights from the homeless, essentially forcing them out of the city rather than dealing with the issue at hand. Story after story, I hope it becomes increasingly evident that our current legislature is just not cutting it for our citizens, and it is not only ineffective but actively adding to this issue every day. Rather than incarcerating people and kicking them from city to city, we should instead be making a system that promotes safe and affordable homes and equal employment opportunities. Systemically perpetuating homelessness has destroyed many people's hope of a financially secure future, discriminated African Americans, and created or destroyed numerous human rights. So after all, you are only one unfortunate incident away from being just another beggar on the streets. So how would you want to be treated? That's it. Ask questions.
Alright.
Okay, so other than participating in voting for legislators that can help with this problem, what can we do actively today to kind of help assist the homeless people?
I'm not super sure on a systemic level, but as far as helping homeless people, you could just, help by donating food to food pantries, and if you see those people on the street, which is not super uncommon, you could just give them a blanket and things that they need. In places where that's not even an option, I'm not super sure because there's not like they would have to go outside of a city to even sleep. So I really like the only way that they could stay somewhere is if you were able to like say you have a job, like a place where you work, like you could recommend them to your boss and be like, hey, like this person really needs a job and like this could like, you know, they're awesome, and like just advocate for them, and that way they can kind of get back on their feet. That might be really helpful for that homeless person.
They also have housing for homeless.
Other questions?
So, do you think homelessness will increase in the next few years depending on the leadership, or will it increase regardless?
Ooh, I think that's really hard to say. We've definitely seen an upward trend in homelessness more recently. I can't cite any sources on that, but I have seen like, you know, articles talk about like there is like a rise in homelessness more recently. So it would be like if we get like a certain I don't know, like if we could get more people like who are able to make more who are able to kind of like change some of the laws, that might help decrease the homeless population. But it might like in general increase just because of like population, but we might see like the percent of people who are homeless might decrease. That is the hope.
Is there any place that we can like donate to or like help with that, like any organization that has been appointed to help these people, or is it state by state basis?
It might be state by state basis. I'm not sure of like any sort of like organization. There might be like you could probably like I know churches sometimes help. Like I remember like we like somebody named Scroggins mentioned that a church would just go by and like give him spaghetti, like him and his family spaghetti, and that's all that they would eat because they couldn't afford food. So like, you know, maybe like even donating to churches that do stuff like that to help support them and encourage them to do that might be somewhere that you could look to. But there might be organizations that do that as well.
Can you define who Scroggins is, please?
Scroggins is an amazing Scroggins. Okay, he was a like a pastor that was at our retreat that we just came from for our campus community, and he was talking about just like his past, but he was able to like eventually get schooling and be able to kind of get out of poverty, but that was his background. But yeah, I don't know, is that adequate?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're good.
cool.
Are we good?
I think you're good.
Awesome. Thank you,
Ray.
Alyssa.
Yay!
Yay! Yay!